The sky above Kythera Prime glowed like lava under pressure, a searing orange-red dome that lit up the fractured desert below. My escape module hit the ground hard, sliding across razorstone ridges before lodging into a bed of crystalline dust. Steam rose in violent bursts from broken seams, and every flickering panel screamed red warnings. I coughed, my mouth full of iron. Blood. Perfect. My name's Jace Relon. Just a few hours ago, I was a maintenance tech aboard the cargo hauler Orion Drift. I'm marooned on a nowhere rock with no backup, limited supplies, and a comm unit that's mostly melted plastic. After enough kicking and swearing, the pod's hatch gave way with a screech. The planet's atmosphere rushed in, dense, warm, carrying the scent of alien flora and something sweet, almost like burnt cinnamon. 2 suns beamed down, one bronze, one ice white. Their blended glow bathed everything in an eerie shimmer. I limped out and took stock. Rations, survival tools, intact. But the propulsion core? Toast. If I was lucky, I'd cobble together a replacement in 10 days. If I was really lucky, I wouldn't get eaten first. Then I heard it. Laughter. Light, melodic, and definitely not human. Spinning around, I scanned the terrain. Twisted obsidian trees with glowing veins, floating shards of levitating quartz, and odd, wriggling plants that folded when looked at. I called out, more annoyed than afraid, "If someone's out there, now would be a great time to show yourself." The laughter came again, this time closer. Then someone, landed in a swirl of dust not far away. She was petite, no taller than my collarbone, with skin the color of midnight storm clouds streaked with glowing copper tattoos. Her eyes, twin orbs of brilliant indigo, blinked at me with playful curiosity. Her armor looked grown, not forged, hugging her form like it had sprouted from her skin. "Well, this is new," she said in near-perfect Earth standard, her voice lilting with amusement. A clumsy off-worlder belly-flopping into my territory. "Classy." I stared. "You speak standard?" She rolled her eyes. "You think your broadcasts haven't reached our satellites? We've been eavesdropping on your sitcoms for decades. You're not as mysterious as you think, spaceman." She moved with the confidence of someone who'd already decided I was harmless. "Name's Syrah. You've crash-landed smack in the middle of a protected sanctuary. Congratulations. That's punishable by exile, or worse." I scanned the empty horizon. "Exile from what? There's nothing here." Syrah laughed, a musical, teasing sound. "You humans always need signs and fences. Tell me, do you post 'Do not touch' stickers on clouds?" I didn't know what to say, so I said the only thing I could. "Sorry. I was trying not to die." This was the softest place to crash. "You're leaking something from that metal coffin," she said, pointing at my ship. "It's soaking into the sacred ground. That's not just disrespectful. It's criminal." I rushed to the leak. It was hyperfluid coolant, mostly biodegradable but still toxic in the wrong doses. I started sealing the rupture, muttering to myself. "You're actually trying to fix it?" she asked, curious. "Of course I am. Just because I'm stuck here doesn't mean I want to ruin your world." Her playful demeanor flickered for just a second. "Most who crash here just yell for help. You different." Over the next few days, we fell into an uneasy rhythm. Syrah showed up every morning with foraged fruit and jokes that cut deeper than they sounded. She hovered as I worked, sometimes mocking, sometimes helping. It didn't take long before her barbs turned to banter. On the 4th day, she caught me watching her. "You humans have odd eyes," she said softly. "Yours keep searching like you're not sure what you're looking for." "Maybe I found it," I replied before I could stop myself. Something in her shifted. She sat beside me on a shard of driftstone, uncharacteristically quiet. "You know why I'm out here alone?" she asked. I shook my head. "I was exiled," she said. "Not for crime. For being took to life. My people don't trust emotion. They see it as weakness. I couldn't fake being numb, so they made me a guardian and sent me out here." "That's not exile," I said. "That's solitary confinement with a pretty label." Syrah looked at me, eyes damp but defiant. "You're not the first outsider to land here. But you're the first who's ever asked if I was okay." I reached for her hand. She didn't pull away. Things changed after that. One night under the binary stars, she kissed me, suddenly, desperately, like someone starved of connection. I didn't resist. The taste of alien fruit and starlight, her warmth against the cold void I'd carried inside for years, it was too real to deny. The next morning, they came. 6 hover skiffs, sleek and silent, fanned out across the canyon. Their riders wore robes that shimmered like liquid mirrors. At their head was an imposing figure, tall, cloaked in steel-threaded fabric, eyes like twin moons, hollow, judgmental. "Sira," he boomed. "You've broken our covenant. You consorted with a contaminant." "He's not a threat," she shot back. "He's more respectful of this place than most of our kind." "He's infected you," the man said, his lip curling. "With emotion. With weakness." They ordered her back. They ordered my death. She refused. "I invoke the old right," Sira declared. "Trial by combat. My life and his freedom on the line." Everyone froze. Even the High Keeper, Thro, looked taken aback. "That law hasn't been invoked since the Burning Era." "But it still stands," Sira insisted. "Choose your champion." "I choose myself." The duel was brutal. Jurel moved like a predator, cold and relentless. Sira danced like fire. Her blades sang, but she bled first, just a shallow wound, but enough to lose by their rules. I couldn't let it end there. "I invoke my own challenge," I said, stepping into the circle. "Not by your customs, but by the only law that matters, love." The council erupted in debate. Jurel scoffed. "Sentiment has no place in judgment." "Then you've already lost," I said. The second duel was nothing like the first. I didn't have her grace, but I had purpose. When Jurel struck, I blocked with my bare hands. When he lunged, I tackled. When he hesitated, I ended it. "First blood," I gasped, standing over him, bleeding from 6 wounds. Silence. Then Sira whispered, "By law, we're free." The others didn't argue. We spent that evening watching the twin suns sink behind the canyon walls. My ship was repaired, the diplomatic exception granted. I could have left, but I stayed. "Now what?" she asked, curled up beside me. "Now," I said, holding her close, "we make our own rules." And for the first time in a long time, I didn't feel like I was drifting anymore. The days that followed felt like living in borrowed time. The council had left, but their presence still echoed in the canyon, their judgment, their masks, their threats. Sira and I knew we hadn't won peace. We'd bought a pause. Still, in that pause, we built something real. We reinforced the crash site into a proper shelter, not just a place to survive, but to exist, together. She showed me how to cultivate the local flora that didn't try to poison me. I taught her how to reroute an old fusion cell to power a heating coil for the cold nights. We traded skills, traded stories. And each time I touched her hand or caught her laughing at one of my terrible jokes, I remembered how close I'd come to losing her. We didn't talk about the future much. Not yet. Neither of us wanted to break the spell by saying too much. But it was there, in every glance, every shared silence under the glowing sky, questions we hadn't dared voice. Would the council return? Could we keep hiding in this valley forever? Would the stars ever call me back? I knew I couldn't leave her. That was never the question. The question was whether I could live in a world where being with her meant always looking over our shoulders. Whether I could stay still when everything in my blood was wired for motion. Then one morning, as the suns rose in tandem and painted the canyon gold, she handed me a small device, one I hadn't seen her working on. It was made from scavenged ship parts and glowing native quartz, fused into something sleek and strange. "What's this?" I asked. "A choice," she said. "I've linked it to your ship. You can go if you want. No one would stop you." "I won't stop you." I stared at the device like it was some ancient relic. "You built me a way out?" She nodded slowly. "Because love isn't love if it's a cage." I looked at her, really looked at her. This fierce, stubborn, brilliant woman who had fought her own people for a feeling they didn't even have words for. She didn't need me to stay. She needed to know I wanted to. So I set the device on the stone table between us. And I crushed it under my boot. Her breath caught in her throat. I'm not going anywhere, Syrah, I said. Not now. Not ever. You're not my prison. You're my reason. Something broke in her then, something soft and buried and scared. She wrapped her arms around me and didn't let go for a long time. This place, this planet, wasn't where I planned to be. But maybe plans were overrated. Maybe meaning didn't come from the stars you chased, but the people you found when you stopped running. We didn't know what tomorrow would bring. Maybe the council would return. Maybe we'd have to fight again. But we were ready. Together, we would carve out our place, not just in exile, but in defiance, in love, in life. And this time, we'd make sure no one took it from us. As the wind rose and the twin suns crept higher, we stood at the edge of the cliffs overlooking the valley that had become ours. Below, the crystal formations shimmered like frozen lightning, echoing the rhythm of a world still wild, still sacred, still watching. We're not hiding, Syrah said, her voice quiet but certain. No, I replied. We're living. We didn't need approval. We didn't need to be understood. What we had was built in defiance of fear, in spite of exile, and because of love. And that was more than survival. It was freedom.